Welcome, this is Allison, and this is another home yoga practice. Today we're going to go right side down with inversions, and this practice is going to take you through headstand and shoulder stand. You'll have an opportunity to do a variation of these postures that works for you, and the sequence is designed to open you up from these postures using the wisdom from the art of alignment. To begin, as always, take a comfortable seat and connect with your breath. Inversions literally turn our world upside down. So they are a powerful practice to help us stay centered, stay connected to ourselves, stay oriented, even as the world turns upside down. And we're going to start with some body awareness techniques like we learned in the Art of Alignment section to help us start becoming oriented towards what headstand and shoulder stand are going to require of us. So interlace your hands and place them behind your head. You're going to bring your elbows in, draw your shoulder blades on your back, and then press your head back as you lift your hands up towards the sky. Now keep your head moving back so it's right over your shoulders and place your hands on your head like they're a cap. And you want to push down with your hands and then really push up with your head, and that extension of your crown upward will release some of the pressure on your head. That's what we need for headstand. From there, go ahead and come up to your seat and let's get warm. Let's start with sun salutations because headstand is the posture of the sun. With your inhale, reach up. With your exhale, bow forward. You're going to bend your knees, move your hips back and your heart forward, and then exhale, bow. So warm up the legs, pump energy into the legs. Inhale, bend your knees, hips back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. Again, inhale, bend your knees, hips back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. Stretch through your legs, down into your feet, and inhale, rise to standing. And then exhale, dive right back down into Uttanasana with strong, steady legs. And then step your right foot back into a low lunge. Right knee comes down to the earth, your sternum lifts. And then exhale, step back, plank pose. Lower down. Inhale, rise cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, right foot forward, left knee down for your low lunge. And then inhale, step up, Uttanasana. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Again, inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, bow to the earth. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back with your right foot. This time the back leg stays straight. So powering up the legs. And then place your hands, step right back into plank pose. And then with your next exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, your right foot steps forward for your lunge again. Back leg stays straight and strong. And then inhale, step up, Uttanasana. Exhale, bow. And then inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands come through heart center. And again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back with your right foot into your right leg lunge. Back leg straight. Step back, plank pose. Then lower down. Inhale, rise cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, step your right foot forward for your lunge. Back leg stays straight. And then inhale, step up to Uttanasana. Exhale, bow. And inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands come through heart center. From here, inhale, reach up again. And exhale, bow forward. We're going to do some of those bowing forward again with the knees bent. So again, you're going to inhale, hips back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. Again, inhale, hips back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. Work the legs. We need the legs for strong inversions. Inhale, hips back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. And then place your hands and step back to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, keep drawing your shoulder blades onto your back. Don't let the armpits sag towards the floor, but like loft your shoulder blades onto your back. That's a very powerful action that we need in place for inversions, especially headstand. In downward facing dog, any upside down posture is perfect preparation for headstand. Now from here, you're going to step your right foot forward for a low lunge. This time bring the left knee down, lift your sternum up, and then exhale, stretch through both your legs, straight leg lunge. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, front knee bends, back knee down. Exhale, stretch both legs straight. Again, front knee bends, back knee down, sternum lifts, sync up with your breath. Exhale, stretch through your legs. From here, you're going to stay in your straight leg lunge and then sweep your right foot back for a 3-legged dog. Then bring your right foot to meet the left and bring your left foot forward. Come into the low lunge and then exhale, straight leg lunge. Again, inhale, low lunge, back knee down, sternum lifts. Exhale, straight leg lunge. Last one, inhale, coming into the low lunge. Exhale, straight leg lunge. Stay here, place your hands, and then sweep your left foot back for a 3-legged dog. Extend powerfully through your heel. Again, that's another preparation for headstand, so be powerful, be strong. And then come into downward facing dog. Float forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise cobra or up dog. Shoulder blades roll down your back. Don't miss that here. And then exhale, downward facing dog. From down dog, bend your knees, look forward at your hands, and then step or hop. Exhale, bow, and inhale, rise to standing. From standing, come into a wide-legged stance, and you're going to place your hands on your hips, bend your knees, and bow forward. Once you bow forward, you can stretch your legs straight and bring your hands to the outside edge of your calves. Press your calves in and move your hips back and apart. Then draw your shoulder blades down your back. So not letting the shoulders hang towards the floor, but actually moving the tips of your shoulder blade towards your hips. So you're bringing strength and integration to your upper spine. Inhale, rise to standing. Now clasp your hands behind your back and exhale, bow forward again. Your head can come to the floor if that's available to you. And again, don't let the shoulders sag towards the floor. Keep drawing the shoulder blades towards your hips and reaching your crown towards the floor. Great preparation for headstand here. And then scoop your tailbone, lift your belly, and rise up with a strong core. Heel toe your feet together, and we're going to come into Malasana, a squat. toes turn out. Bring your elbows to the inner edges of your knees. Press your elbows into the knees, knees into the elbows. Then exhale, press into your feet and rise. Inhale, you look up towards your hands. And then exhale, come back down into your squat. You can lift your heels if you need to. Stay for the inhale. Then exhale, press into your feet and rise. Pause for the inhale and then exhale back down. So you're transitioning on the exhale. Keep moving with your breath. And you're really focusing on extending down into your foundation, which here is your feet. Soon it's going to be the crown of your head, but you're extending into the foundation to rise up, practicing that mechanism of rooting down to rise, which we learned is part of an alignment key for your inversions. This is your last one. And once you rise up, you're going to point your second toe straight forward, clasp your hands behind your back, and bow forward. So a little more narrow of a wide-legged forward fold. And then you're going to turn your belly towards your left leg. Shoulder blades stay on your back. It's challenging here, I know. And then turn your belly towards your right leg. You can bend your left knee a little bit and then bow forward. Inhale, rise to standing. We're going to do that with the legs a little closer together, like an Uttanasana type stance. Hands stay clasped behind your back as you bow forward into Uttanasana. And then bend your right knee, turn the belly towards the left, so it's more of a side twist. Left leg stays straight, and then you're going to bend the left knee and turn to your right. Shoulder blades stay moving up your back, so towards your hips, not dropping towards the floor. But keep extending your crown towards the floor so there's maximum length in your spine. Come to the center. Scoop your tailbone, lift your belly as you rise to standing. Release your clasp. And with your next inhale, stretch to the sky. Draw your shoulder blades on your back, and you can curl your sternum towards the sky, and then exhale, bow forward, keep your shoulder blades on your back. From here, step your right foot back and come into a high lunge. From your high lunge, you're going to press your palms forward like you're pressing on a wall, and that'll help you draw your shoulder blades on your back and lift your sternum up. So it's that curling in the upper spine that allows you to lift and extend. Keep your legs steady and strong. Exhale, touch the earth, step up, Uttanasana. Step back with your left foot for the second side, arms up overhead. Press your hands forward like you're pressing on a wall to draw your shoulder blades on your back. And then tips of your shoulder blades go down your back to lift your heart up. Head moves back. Breath is full, legs are strong. Exhale, touch the earth. Step up, Uttanasana. From here, step the right leg back, come into a high lunge again, arms up overhead. But this time you're going to pull your hands down, pull like you're pulling on a pull-up bar, so you squeeze your shoulder blades on your back, and then extend your arms out straight. Let your ears rest in between your arms so your head and neck is supported by your shoulders. Exhale, touch the earth, step up, Uttanasana, and change sides. Left foot back for the second side high lunge. Arms up overhead. Again, pull down like you're pulling on a pull-up bar. Shoulder blades squeeze onto your back, and then you extend out through your arms. Head moves back. Heart is open. Exhale, touch the earth. And step up, Uttanasana. Then place your hands and make your way back to downward facing dog. Again, float your shoulder blades on your back. Don't let them drop towards the floor. And come forward to plank pose. Lower down. Then inhale, rise up, cobra pose. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Head's moving back. And then back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you're going to bring your right foot forward for a low lunge. This time, left knee down. Tuck your left toes under. And you're going to interlace your hands behind your head, much like we did at the beginning of this practice. Bring your elbows together. You're going to press your head back into your hands and then use your hands to lengthen your skull towards the sky. And you're really working the shoulder blades onto your back, just like in the high lunge. It's the shoulder blades that support your head and neck. Come back to the center and change sides. Left foot forward, right knee down. Hands clasp behind your head right where your skull meets your neck. Your elbows hug in and you plug your shoulder blades onto your back. And then press your head back into your hands as your hands lengthen the back of your neck, lengthen your crown. Slowly come out of the pose and step back downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, step your right foot forward for pigeon pose. Back toes tucked under. And in pigeon pose, you're going to hug your right heel toward your left knee. That scissoring action, that hugging in of your legs will bring strength and power to your legs. And it will eventually allow your hips to lift up off the floor. And then same clasp behind your hands, behind your head. The hands interlaced. Pull your shoulder blades on your back and then lengthen your crown, like you're trying to take your crown at a diagonal out towards the horizon. Slowly come out of the pose and change sides. Left foot forward for pigeon pose. Again, you're hugging your left knee towards your right knee. That scissoring action between the legs lifts your pelvis up. It's the power in your legs that often gives you freedom in the rest of your body. And then hands interlaced behind your crown, hug your elbows in, pull your shoulder blades on your back, and then lengthen through your crown. So you're looking for space in the crown, you're looking expansion through your neck and opening in the upper spine. Come out of the pose and come into child's pose. Hips to heels, arms out in front of you. In this version of child's pose, come onto your fingertips and lift your shoulder blades onto your back. So it's not like the shoulder blades are moving off your back towards the floor, but you're actually squeezing them together and pulling them onto your back and then drawing the tips of your shoulder blades down your back towards your hips. From here, we're going to do Dolphin Pose to practice drawing our shoulder blades onto our back. So you're going to place your hands first in just the dolphin preparation and allow your sternum to move towards the floor. And then you can hold a block if you need to, or you can do it without a block. But you want to keep the shoulder blades moving onto your back even as you lift your hips up. So now your legs are straight and you can walk in. Keep your gaze on the block and keep drawing your shoulders towards your hips. That is the key in this pose and in headstand. Keep gazing at the block, draw your shoulder blades up towards your hips and come out of the pose. Now from here, you're going to sit back on your heels, bring the block to your crown, like we did in the Art of Alignment, and push the block onto your head, and then push your head into the block. And you'll notice when you push your head into the block and draw your shoulder blades on your back, like we've been doing with all these shoulder openers, you don't feel compression from the block. It feels like there's less pressure from the block. And this is exactly what we want to do in headstand. You have to extend down into the foundation to rise up into the pose. Now hold the block and we're going to do that same Matsyendrasana variation. So your forehead or your crown is going to come to the block. You're holding the block and pushing it into your head, and then you come back into dolphin variation. Again, press your head into the block into your head, and lift your shoulder blades towards your hips. Good. Come out of the pose. Move your block away, and we're going to start working into headstand, and we're going to do the variation with fingers clasp, pinky finger comes in. You can go to the wall right now if that feels appropriate for you. You can pause the video And then once we start working into headstand, you're going to place your crown on the floor. Elbows no wider than your shoulders. And don't let your shoulders move towards the floor. That's a disaster. Keep moving your shoulder blades towards your hips. And then again, no kicking. No kicking to come up. You can gently lift your feet up or lift one leg and then the other. You'll find more power here than you know once you start resisting the urge to kick up. Come into a headstand that feels right for you, or keep your feet on the mat and just practice the actions of pressing your head into the floor and drawing your shoulder blades towards your hips, because that's really what's going to take you into a safe and effective headstand. And even if you don't take your feet up, if you practice those mechanisms, you'll be able to do headstand very soon. And when you're in headstand, keep the same things happening, pressing your head into the earth, rooting down through your foundation, and then drawing your shoulder blades up your back, so towards your hips, and then keeping your feet active and really reaching through your heels, through the ball of your feet as well. So the more the legs stay active, the more you feel light and supported by your lower limbs. Just a few more seconds here experimenting in headstand. And then you're going to come out of the pose with integrity, either bringing one foot down and then the other, or coming out in a pike. But as always, leaving enough strength and power to transition safely, intelligently. And then a traditional counter pose is child's pose, and you can press your forehead into the mat and draw your shoulder blades on your back. My favorite counter pose for a headstand is actually downward facing dog, and you can move into that posture now. And in downward facing dog, I like this because you can work the shoulder blades on your back and then just let your head and neck be supported by the integration in your upper spine. And to me, that is the best release after a headstand, especially after a long headstand. And then from downward facing dog, make your way onto your hands and knees. And you're going to come onto your back. Make sure your block is close by. And we're going to go into preparations for shoulder stand. Now, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana bridge pose is a preparation for shoulder stand. So that's where we're going to start. Work your shoulder blades on your back. Press into your feet and lift your hips up. And then you can clasp your hands or clasp a belt, but really work your shoulder blades on your back. Like headstand, the name of the pose tells us a lot. Most of your weight is going to be on your shoulders. And you want to keep that same mechanism like in headstand. The shoulders moving onto your back, tips of the shoulder blade lifting your heart up. Exhale and come out of bridge pose, lowering your hips to the floor. Now for the next one, we're going to lift one leg and then the other. And you can either clasp your hands, which is the most challenging, place a block underneath your hips, which is the most accessible, or place your hands under your hips. That's what I like to do. And then press your right foot into the earth, lift your left knee into your chest, and extend your left leg to the sky. Then bring your left foot down, press your left foot down into the earth, and extend your right leg to the sky. Really press into the grounded foot and reach up through the extended leg. Again, on each side, press into your right foot, lift your left knee up, and then extend your left foot to the sky. And then left foot down, right knee into your chest, right leg to the sky. If this is challenging, use a block underneath your sacrum. And then go ahead and bring the right foot down, lower your hips to the earth. And now if you don't have it already, we're going to place the block underneath the sacrum, either high, medium, or low. Find a place that's comfortable to you. Work your shoulder blades onto your back. Keep your head pressing back so the front of your throat and the back of your neck are equally open, and there's a space between the back of your neck and the floor. And you're going to just really get comfortable and confident in your shoulders. And then lift your right knee into your chest, extend your right leg to the sky. So same sequence, feeling the support of the block, then bring your right foot down, and also feeling the support of your shoulders to bear the majority of your weight, left knee in, left leg to the sky. And then draw your right knee in, take your right leg to the sky. So now we're in a supported variation of Viparita Karani. This is my favorite variation of shoulder stand to do. It's a different pose, but you get similar benefits. And then go ahead and bring both feet down. You can stay in Viparita Karani for the remainder of this shoulder stand time if that's the right pose for you. Or if you're going into shoulder stand, as always, I recommend using a blanket or two. You place your shoulders at the smooth end of the blanket, the folded end of the blanket if your blanket has fringe. And again, you want that space between the back of your neck and the floor. And then you're going to work your hands underneath your hips coming into bridge pose. And then you can either roll your feet over or lift your feet up. And then you can either hold your hips, which is another variation of Viparita Karani, or your hands move down towards your kidneys. I like to take my feet over my head in Halasana and then really work the shoulder blades on my back and then come back up into shoulder stand if I'm practicing a freestanding variation. And you want to keep working the hands down your back, keep working the shoulder blades onto your back. There are a lot of different variations in shoulder stand. You can bring the feet together into temple pose, like a Baddha Konasana variation. You can come into a lotus variation. I like to do that a lot. And really the variations in shoulder stand or headstand are just to help you stay in the pose longer. In shoulder stand, you can also bring one foot overhead and then the other. And if you're in shoulder stand, you can transition into Halasana Plow Pose. You keep the same alignment in your head and neck and shoulders in Plow Pose. The feet just come overhead. So you're still pressing your head into the back of the mat, still working your shoulder blades onto your back. Can bend your knees and move them towards your ears for Karnapidasana. And then within the next breath or two, come back into your shoulder stand variation. If you're in Viparita Karani, you can start to transition out of that pose. If you're in shoulder stand, you can lower your hips down onto your hands. As always, coming out of these postures, especially inversions, with integrity, with strength, and then bring one foot to the floor and then the other wherever you are. And then slowly release your hips. We're going to do Matsyendrasana, stretch your legs out long. Hands go underneath your hips, underneath your sitting bones, palms down, and then you roll onto the top of your head. This really opens up the throat, opens up the chest, because there can be some compression there in these postures. Inversions are really amazing for reversing the effects of gravity, and in that way they help our bodies cleanse and detoxify. They stimulate the flow of lymph and our circulation. So we're going to do one more cleansing twist. You can take your arms up overhead, and then you're going to drop your knees over to the right. And you can just stay here looking towards your left, or hold the outer blade of your left foot with your right hand and stretch your left leg straight. and then come back to the center and drop your knees over to the left. You can stay with the knees to the left or hold the outer blade of your right foot with your left hand and extend the leg straight. Inhale, come back to the center. Place your feet on the mat and then take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. Enjoy several deep cleansing breaths here. And then I recommend taking at least a 5 to 7 minute Shavasana. You can set your timer, maybe turn on some meditative music, and enjoy Shavasana. Inversions are powerful, powerful practices, so it's so important to rest and assimilate the benefits from this work in Shavasana. And I hope this sequence gives you some ideas of how you can incorporate inversions into your practice, because they can be transformative in so many different ways, psychologically, helping us stay steady as our world turns upside down. They help our circulation, they help our immune system, our nervous system, and our sense of steadiness in ourselves. Thank you so much for joining in this practice, for being a part of this course. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.